Welcome back into another episode of the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Truth Rising Show, here to help you grow in the knowledge and wisdom of truth, and the truth will set you free. We're going to get into part 14, and they called his name Immanuel, by Judas Iscarioth and SANANDA. Now, to introduce the next portion of the journal here, I'm going to say that the Bible was introduced and put to paper by inspired personages on the planet, some prophets, some scribes, some higher universal man, some angels, and God's beloved Son, Christ, Emmanuel, who inspired these works. So with that being said, let's get on into part 14. Chapter 5, Recording 1, Iscarioth Emmanuel Sananda, August 8, 1989, 6:45 a.m. This is year 2, day 357 in the new calendar date. We are present and prepared to proceed. It is with great love and appreciation for your service that we join with you. I am Sananda with my brother Judas Iscarioth. Blessings upon these writings. I salute Commander hATONnn of Pleiades for his willing participation, and I honor the thousands of hours you ones have spent in concentrated training in preparation for our arrival. As an Earth-based team, I honor and salute you for your fine works. In a most negative and demanding environment, you shall have your day in the sun. I now relinquish communication circuits to Judas Iscarioth, that we might move rapidly with this project. I place mine seal upon this work and upon this information, and I bless you with ease of input and peace within, that you know of truth. So be it. Salut. Greetings in the radiance. Judas here to continue. I also bring respect and appreciation to the members of the Pleiades fleet, and more specifically to Commanders hATONnn, Samjazi, Asket, Leah, Corton, for his superb communication assistance, and to you ones of Pleiades stationed on Earth base, which must remain unlabeled for security reasons. Your honor will be fulfilled as you see the wondrous truth displayed on thy media screens around thy world. This information must be perpetually given into the hands of beloved WG, and immediately upon the completion is to be copyrighted under a pen name, which will be decided at the time. Sepipu Odyssey will also be placed in published format in preparation for information seekers. Publication will be in the format and sequence in which the communiques are being sent and received. At all times, security and safety measures must be observed and carefully exacted. Screenplays and further distribution instructions will be forthcoming for security purposes. This information probably will be registered by Darushka Merit as author to protect Dharma's identity. These works in the beginning will most likely be published through Sister T, so that this location of Base Central will be held in some measure of security. Many things can also be brought forth through Little Crow Productions as we move further into integration. These things are brought forth herein, for I respond now to Dharma's inquiries. So again, one of Dharma's great friends is Little Crow while she was on this planet. This is a book by Little Crow from the Gathering, Many Sacred Truths from Little Crow, and we'll get into that book in another sitting. And remember, if you see a cloud in the sky that looks like this, it may be our higher universal brothers and sisters coming back to help you out. So don't overlook anyone or anything, because they may be an angel in disguise. Those that do the least unto mine have done it unto me. So with that being said, let's get back into this portion. Dharma, the next portion that will be placed within for documentation has already been brought onto you within the past few days. Search it out that our time be shortened. You will locate it from Wednesday, August 2nd, 1989, recording to 2 p.m. Included in total, for it was brought forth by Emmanuel, Izu, Jesus, Sananda, that writings cover a portion from the scrolls, as well as a current input from the Master himself. Let this portion be complete. Let us then move on, so be it. Izu, Jesus, Sananda, August 2, 1989, year 2, date 351. So this was already told to them, and they're republishing it. Wednesday, August 2nd, 1989. Since many of the ones who served with me in the Middle Eastern lands have now returned with me to serve again, I must be in the enlightening of your different thrust. I watch your beauteous ones thrash and foment in agitation over your directions. You are in different time and place. Yours will be by works of a different nature at this time. I am Izu, Jesus Sananda, who comes in thy service to do a bit of reminding. Lessons must be of such nature that the point can be utilized in any circumstance. You go where you can accomplish and allow seeds to germinate and sturdy plants grow. To harvest, to run about teaching one to one, as the disciples did in the Holy Lands, is most foolish indeed. Firstly, you will negate our thrust of building a thriving industrial city of newness, and you will not reach but a puny few who will not believe at any rate. No, Cellist, the teachings must be spread forth through giant television, motion picture complexes, and such as that type of conduit, massive spread and circulation. These are the last offerings of the word of truth to a sick humanity, and it must be mammoth in nature. I will effort at comparison of teachings as I gathered you around me in those days of 2,000 years ago, and now in the present time. Instructions to Mind 12. I called Mind 12, and they were as follows. Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the customs officer, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon Danius, and Judas Iscarioth, who was the only one besides me who understood the script. I sent them forth and told them to not go into the streets of Israel, and to not go near the Pharisees and the scribes, but rather go to the cities of the Samaritans and the unknowing in any and all other parts of the world. I told them thusly to do this after I would be gone from them, for these ones, the unknowing heathens, which only means unbelieving, agnostic, etc., simply a definitive term, for they did not belong to the house of Israel, which would bring death and bloodshed into the world. Again, brethren, I speak not against any individual man, but as a defined group of oneness in thought and doctrine. I told them to go forth and teach that the laws of nature are the laws of the creation, and the power of man's spirit embodies life. I told them to heal the sick, rouse the dead, cleanse the lepers, drive out evil spirits, etc. These services were to be done without pay, given freely to all one's asking. Material needs would be met with work of integrity in the marketplace, with honor and honesty. I told them to not amass gold, silver, or copper in their belts. Their works would produce remuneration, and it would be recycled into the business and works that the work and word could spread. Those ordained to go forth onto the frontiers would leave the business in the hands of the servants, who remained to ensure a foundation of value to cover earth needs. All would have, but no one person would glean great masses of wealth to be squandered or stolen. At that time, it was far different from your current lifestyle, where there is a hotel on every corner and eating establishments by the hordes in every village, and you can travel by machine and thus and so. Therefore, you need not travel and abide with others, nor depend on another, for your needs for all can be in the production of the wherewithal. This is if you all come to thy purpose and settle down to do of thy works, as you have accepted and committed. 2,000 years ago, I told them to go only with those things that are absolutely necessary, so that they could eat and sleep on their journey, and so that they could keep clean and have always clean changes of clothing. Travel was dangerous in those days, and I told them not to carry many things with them, for they would only be burdened and would become welcome victims for thieves. I reminded them, each good deed is worth its pay, and if you diligently preach and teach knowledge, you shall not want anything. Now this was meant exactly as laid forth. These men knew their purpose, served those encountered, and further, they were not searching for self, but serving others. These ones were not searching, were not going in search of self-fulfillment and inner light for the individual self to meditate in another's presence, that one's truth might somehow rub off on them. These were not flower children drifting without purpose, living the lie of lies that they were off helping mankind. These flower children were the dropouts of society, claiming to search for their identity through every loose moral activity available, while wandering and drifting about in groups of booster-uppers and meditation mediums. This, brethren, is the difference in responsibility and irresponsibility. This type of proclaimed love is the most destructive one activity to plague humanity. Mind ones were sent forth knowing full well what was their job and working 24 hours a day at it. No time off for afternoon energy meditation while they sneaked in a nap and cried later. Energy overload. They went on foot, remember? They walked thousands of miles, where you can put 150 envelopes into the mail to cover the same thousands of miles. So be it. You cop out by saying, well, you told them to do this and that, and thus and so. When you do as they had to do, then you come and complain to me. And watch it, friends. If you do not do your job well now, that is exactly the way you will find yourselves doing it. And brothers, you have committed on to the work, no matter how you have to do it. I warned them to check carefully when entering a village, Remember, no motels. They had to search out living quarters in private places. So I urged them to take great care and inquire about if there would be someone there who would be worthy, and advised them to stay with same until departure if possible. I told them to salute a house when it was entered into, and I tell you to honor, salute the house into which you enter. It is gracious and imparts love and vibrations of peace and goodness. If the house is worthy, your peace will come upon it, but if it is not worthy, your peace will return unto you and you depart. If someone does not want to take you in or to hear your speeches, leave that house or that town and shake the dust off your feet. I told them then, I tell you now, not to stay in a place where you are not welcome with openness. Your truth and speeches will not be recognized. Flee from these places, for they are selfish and disloyal to nature. They revere not sacred things. They will be honoring false